Lori is from Romio. She's a business development director at Romio. Romio is a new app that launched earlier this year. It's a new app that helps New Yorkers find and book trusted providers. Previously, she held roles at digital marketing and editorial at L'Oreal, Refinery 29, and 17 magazine. She also founded the blog Champagne for Breakfast, which serves as the lazy ladies' cheat sheet for glamorous living. Right. Then we have Yulia here. Yulia is a freelance Russian model and actress who has done some work for TV, working with honored artists of Russia, modeled for numerous American fashion brands, published in several international fashion magazines, and she's acted in several films. Then we have Mr. Ravi Punn. Ravi is the founder and CEO of Baynes & Baker Menswear. He's also the CEO of Bosworth Ventures, which is a real estate development and investment firm based out in Vancouver. Baynes & Baker work with notable parties such as CBS, NFL, NBA, MLB with their custom suiting. It's a menswear brand in Canada and are looking to continue their growth in New York City. And last but not least, now I am on this man's board. I'm honored to be on his board. He is a model agency owner. Mark Moore is the president and CEO of Debut Model Agency. He holds a 10th degree black belt. I might need that, maybe one day. And for more than 20 years, he developed a business development company called Debut Media. Over the past 2 decades, he's helped restructure, consult, and guide high-level corporate fashion and entertainment companies, such as Burberry, Sex and the City, and Saks Fifth Avenue. So, why don't we give a round of applause to all these speakers? All right, let me get my questions here. I'm going to start with Lori. All right, Lori. So with Romio, what effect has this booking service capability made on the mobile app industry?
I think that now Romeo has made booking services, everything from a dog walker to a makeup artist and hairstylist, accessible through your fingertips. I think it's really opened up doors to kind of be like, everything's so convenient. First you can shop online and get anything now within 2 days, and now you can get anybody for the job. And it's all recommended by our trusted influencers and experts. So we're just making New Yorkers' lives a little bit easier.
Wonderful. And I also want to ask you, what is the biggest challenge in the booking services, in the digital industry, in the app industry at the moment?
Hands down, app design. We are so used to just having everything so convenient and spelled out for us, but when you're actually on the other side and you're designing it, sometimes what makes sense when you test it out to somebody else, they just come back and say, that makes absolutely no sense. So it's definitely a lot of back and forth with our test pools and just seeing if it resonates with the way people behave on the phone with other apps such as Uber, Venmo, and even Instagram.
Very important. The app industry is getting bigger and bigger, yes. And what made Romeo decide to tackle this subject of booking services for anybody in New York City?
It really was a vision of our founder and CEO, Tariq Sansel. He wanted to create an app that can help service providers grow their business and pursue their passion. And also from the user side, he wanted to create a sense of ease in the mind, which is why all of our service providers are vetted individually, and it's recommended by some top influencers and experts. Kevin is one of our experts. So it puts a sense of ease in everyone's mind, knowing that if you know Kevin through Instagram or through his business or through these networks, you can see which service providers, from babysitter to hairstylist to makeup artist, that he recommended. So it's really putting ease and trust in New Yorkers' mind.
Perfect. And anything else you want to share? Maybe like the website or how people would get on Romeo, or something you want to say about this amazing app, Romeo?
Anything else that I haven't already mentioned? Well, it did launch earlier this year, so it is available on iTunes and the Google Play Store. And if you guys are ever looking for anything from, like I said, a dog groomer, we cover all industries, a handyman, a painter, and even if you're having a baby, a doula. That's how diverse our service provider network is. So I do encourage you guys to just give it a shot and just take a look around. Maybe you'll meet somebody that you'll be partners with for many years to come.
Great, thank you, Lori. Definitely an app that you looking for anything, you can find it on that app. Yeah. So, Miss Yulia Bounty, I first want to ask you, since you're a model and an actress, who in your eyes would you say is the most popular model right now, and why?
Well, you can see a lot of new and really recognizable faces in fashion industry, in models, real popular. But in my opinion, that Adriana Lima is really she's one of the best, and in my eyes, she is the best. She started when she was 15, and you may know her as a Victoria's Secret, the most popular model. She represented Victoria's Secret since 1999, and still last year she was the most valuable model of the year of Victoria's Secret. So I think she does a great job. She's still, she's really professional. So yeah, I think she's one of the best.
Great. I'm sure we all love Adriana Lima. And I want to ask you, what made you choose model and acting, and what made you, what do you prefer more, or is there a preference for you between model and acting?
Well, actually, I was involved in acting a lot. I started in 2009 back in Russia. I was studying for acting, and I was really involved. I was really enjoyed what I've been doing. It's not really easy as it can look at first sight, because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort and practicing, And I've been doing modeling just for fun. I never really thought about building a modeling career, but everything changed when I moved to States, and I started to do more and more and more modeling, and I got I was really enjoyed that, and I got paid for that. So yeah, probably that's why. So because my hobby is just give me some income, and I think that's the best.
That is definitely important, to make your hobby an income. Wow. Sure, we all like to do that. So what is the number one advice, or the best advice you could give to anybody looking to become a model, or anyone looking to become an actress? Through your experience, what insight or advice can you give on that?
So I would say, if you are trying to be in modeling industry or acting industry, no matter how many times you get rejected today, don't ever let it to undermine your self-esteem or self-confidence, because this industry is full of rejections. It's very competitive business, so don't take it personal. Too many people are there, and be constructive about that. Try to see maybe you can change something, but don't think that you are not good enough or something like that. Just be yourself, work hard, and turn the filter on. Don't take every job that they offer you. Make, you know, pick 3 or 5 the most important and just try to focus on them. Because they will offer you a lot of job. Make sure that it's a good job for you. Even if you do TFP or something like that, make sure that you like it, that it responds your searching or something, your conditions. Don't take everything they offer you. You will get like hundreds offers. Respect yourself and make sure that you don't go against rules. Be wise.
Wow, thank you. That's very powerful. All right, now I have Mr. Ravi Punn. He is the CEO, he's the founder actually of Baynes and Baker, a custom suit company in Canada and in New York City. So first I want to ask you, how has the menswear and suit industry changed in the past 5 years? You know, and in your experience, what do you predict will happen in the next 5 to 10 years in the menswear and suit industry?
So I think if you look back, sort of in the last 5 years, fashion, especially particularly for men, has evolved so much, and I think you directly relate it to the growth of social media. So 10 years ago, guys were not too in tune with what other guys are wearing, or bloggers or influencers, because you never had that avenue to find it. So for sure, in the last 5 years, I think Instagram, especially because you're on your phone all day long, depending on who you follow, your celebrities, bloggers, influencers have become a huge part of everything that we want to wear. So you see that every single day, every time you open your phone. And menswear, particularly guys, were never that fashion friendly on an overall scale. But now you'll see guys wanting to wear, more fitted suits, tighter suits. So we've actually grown with the growth of social media.
Social media is powerful. And in your eyes, what are there any differences of the menswear and suit market compared in America compared to Canada?
Just in general, so I'm from Vancouver, born and raised. So in Vancouver, we have a very Lululemon-based lifestyle where the question isn't, oh, I have to dress up for work. It's not, you don't dress up to go to work. It's, oh, I have to dress up to go to work. Most guys are looking for that opportunity to get to work in their Lululemons, their runners, or sneakers. So when we started the company, the real goal was guys were always priced out of custom suits. It always came with this elegance and this expensive price tag where you had to be in a back room with a private tailor spending, $2,000 and up for a custom suit. Millennials, if you're under 30, there's not a lot of us that can afford that. So when we started the company, the goal was we wanted to create a product where everyday guys can have that luxury, but still be able to obviously afford it. And so when we started the company, our only price tag was $399 for any custom suit. And as we grew, we changed this because we came out to New York, and the first question was, guys out here, they're like very well versed in suits, and the question was, why are your suits $399? It wasn't like, oh, I'm getting a great deal. It's like, okay, there's got to be something wrong. So over the course of time, I said, you know what? There's people out there that still want to spend money on a suit and want everyone to know that they spent $1,000, but we sort of rejigged the business model on the fly, and we added 2 more collections, but still keeping our fundamentals in place where the everyday guy can still afford that luxury. So when we came to New York, we added premium fabrics. We had to bring in name brand fabrics. And as soon as we offered that business out here, especially Toronto and New York are very similar, very corporate head offices. Vancouver guys will still haggle me at $399 and say, oh, can you give me a deal on that? But out here, yeah, so it's just it's a lifestyle thing. It's very different out east than it is on the West Coast.
Perfect. Because I know that I was going to ask you, what is the benefit that you guys offer with you? I mean, you just said it's really, really affordable custom suits, and it's something that is like they get to make it in their own personal way. So I guess, I'll ask you now, like, what advice do you have for anybody looking to start like a menswear company or like a suit company? Do they need to get a team? Do they need to do it, go to classes? What can you speak on that?
He's trying to get your secrets.
I mean, to speak on that, I could really just tell my story. So I'm a real estate developer through and through in Vancouver. If you asked me 10 years ago, I'd be selling suits and in fashion, I would have said no. I always had a passion for it, but it was never something that I wanted to pursue until I went overseas. We made some connections just based on a real estate traveling trip that I did. And I had a friend back home was saying, you know what, you have the nicest suits, we can start a business. And I was like, no, I'm not getting into fashion, never. Fast forward 3 years, we've got 3 offices, we're working with every athlete in every sport. But I think the main thing I can say is just let the opportunities sort of grow organically. You don't need all the money, you don't need it to be perfect. There's never going to be a right time. I mean, every day I'm learning things. I had a conversation in here 15 minutes ago, and my brain started spinning because I was like, you know what, we can do that too. So it's all about just doing it. Whatever the product, build a product that obviously people want to wear, but have a story behind it. And I mean, it's as cheesy as it sounds. If you don't give up, you'll succeed. But it's definitely like we've had tons of ups and downs growing within this business and just learning fashion. Like I'm a construction guy, so to get into this, it was a huge learning curve. But we never gave up, and we're still continuing to grow. And just the main thing is you're never gonna know everything, and it's never gonna be right. But yeah, you just have to be cognizant of that.
Absolutely, I love that. That's all it really is just like following your passion and just doing it. It's as simple as it sounds. And later we're gonna have more of that from our keynote speaker. With just doing what you gotta do, and you really have more capability than you really do. You don't even know it. And I can't wait till the keynote speaker speaks something about that. And but for now. Now we have Mark. I know Mark pretty well. I'm honored to be on his board panel for his model agency. And first I want to ask you, Mark. Specifically to the industry, you have a model agency. What do you say? How can we advance the model industry?
Start me with the easy one, please. Jeez. How do you advance the model industry? From what perspective? That's like an encyclopedia because you have the client side, you have the model side, right? The agent. So advancing the model industry, probably the easiest way for me to focus on it would be to say, run your agency like every other business runs their business. What I mean by that is this. You have an agency that you own, and you have models who you represent. Those models are people, right? They're individuals, but they're also subcontractors to you, but they're also their own individual businesses themselves, right? But you're representing them. So advancing the industry would be to say this. Take your percentage as an agent or manager or whatever, and then allow for the model the opportunity to make a living doing what she's doing. I don't know how much people know about the industry as a whole, so I'll just give it really quick. Right? So the industry as a whole would be like this. You're a model, you work at a major agency, I won't give any names, but a huge agency. And they say, well, we're taking 20%, you're happy, they're signing you, and they're gonna send you all over Europe and here and there, and you work, and you work, and you work. 14 castings a day. You're getting gigs, you're getting music videos. You get asked to be in SAG and AFTRA because you're speaking in some things. And on paper, you're making all this money over weeks, over months. And then when you go to cash out to get paid, you end up with like 20 bucks. Because they say, yeah, we're gonna charge you 20%, but then they take, travel expenses. Oh, wait, you were living? Oh, wait, did you eat at Starbucks yesterday? Well, that's $3.50. Do you follow what I'm saying? So I think if overall, on the agent side, if they would treat it like any person running any other business, they wouldn't be allowed to do that. They're only doing that now because it's been an industry standard since its inception. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, that was great. That was great insight for anybody, in the model industry. I also want to ask you, do you remember a specific time or experience where you wish that you or your company or your industry did something differently? And if you were to do it over, or if the industry were to do it over, what would you change?
I'm just going to throw this back at you for 1 second to clarify the question. From what perspective? You mean like the industry isn't... See, because modeling and fashion are intertwined, but they're separate but together.
The modeling industry, as a model agency, what would you change, or even in your own experience, either the industry or your own company?
I would say focus more on developing your models, right? Focus more on making sure they truly understand what it means to be an actual professional. True professional. Because you're your own first impression everywhere you go. Every casting you go to, go see, whatever you're doing. Every casting call you go to, you see the same faces. Every time it's the first time. So if you're late, listen, you think they're not taking a note? Mental note? Right? If you're on time, they're taking a mental note because they'd rather you be early, right? Just the overall professionalism, making sure that they understand that as an agent, you want to communicate with your models. I think most agents don't communicate enough with their models. They just send them out. And if they get work, great. And if they don't get work, whatever. If the casting call's calling for a brunette, they send a blonde. They don't care, right? So I would say focus on the professionalism and the communication with your models and making sure they understand. Look, you want people to remember you even if they don't cast you. When you leave, the next time your comp card comes there and see your name and name of your agency, they're like, wow, you know what? We got to use her some kind of way.
Thank you. Yeah, just follow your manager, follow your agent, follow your company leader, and just show up on time. That's half the battle, and that's so important, just showing up on time. The last question I just want to ask you is, well, first, how would you have people get in contact with you if anyone looking to be a model, talk about debut models, and just what is your advice to anybody, just also, as like I asked Yulia, like what is your advice to anyone looking to be a model or anyone looking to start up a model agency? Would love to get your insight.
If I was a parent, I'd say don't be a model. That would be my first advice. I'm not a parent, but I still would say don't. I'll entertain anyone who comes up to me and says, I want to be a model, and I'll talk to them. But I will be honest with them. Now, if I had a couple of drinks in me, I'm not going to say a word until I'm sober, right? But in truth, I'd have to be real with them. That doesn't mean quit because I say or somebody else says you shouldn't do it. We all have stories, I've heard of stories of people who've been told, you'll never make it, and they became the biggest stars on the planet. So it's about attitude, I think, most importantly. And what's the first thing you notice about a person walking into a room? You haven't spoken to them yet, but you notice them. They're carrying something, a certain attitude, a certain way that they are, right? So I would say attitude, if you're gonna do it. And any advice I would give from this point forward would be only to someone. I'd either be speaking to the choir because they've gone through it, so I'm telling them something they already know. And if I'm telling this to someone, or I'm about to say to a model who just walked in the door, they have no idea what I'm talking about until they experience it. So there really is no advice other than, listen, if you believe it, if you're really committed to it, then absolutely go for it. But if you don't really feel like you can commit, try it out, whatever, if you can.
All right, well, thank you very much, and thank you to all the speakers. Why don't we give them a round of applause? I'm man.